I have no idea if this is actually working. So awkward. First time live streaming. Let's see how this goes. I've got it loaded on my phone right here. And let's see. Okay, yeah, so it looks like it is working. And again, it's a test live stream. I don't even know if anybody's going to watch this. Looks like I'm in 1440p. I could have sworn I set this to 4K. And I see, what is it? Ananje YouTube. Okay, cool. I want to see. Okay, I've always seen that Linus, when he does When Show, talks about how the dashboard is broken. And I thought to myself, it can't be that bad. Holy, this is bad. Because apparently I have a chat already that I frankly can't like see properly. So we're gonna mess around here. Oh, YouTube, you're such a massive platform. I can't fathom like how incredibly broken this seems. Okay, wait, hold on. Who's this chatting? I'm trying to use my teleprompter to read it. It's not happening. Anuj YouTube. Okay. 1440p here. Hey, you know what? 1440 is still good. Am I in sync? And do I sound okay? I know that there's some line noise, and I'm using like what's it called? A noise remover plugin at the moment to try to get rid of the line noise. But I mean, it's still coming through, but it's not like super bad. So, yeah, that's a thing. Wow, this YouTube thing is so broken. Like right now on my screen, can I show this without doxing myself? Probably not, so I'm not going to show this. Okay, yeah, so there's no delay, it looks like. Okay, awesome. So what up? You are officially the very first person to enter my my live stream of my very first live stream on this channel. And I think that's pretty interesting. I don't get YouTube. I don't understand this interface. This is so weird. I can edit videos and all sorts, but like, God forbid I do a live stream. The good thing is hopefully my overhead camera works, so you should be able to see my phone now, right? And then I've got my desktop on here, but we are not going to switch to that because, frankly, yeah, I'm not doxing myself to start the live stream journey. But I'm going to, I guess, have my phone in my hand to read chat if more people join. So, Anuj, is this your first time seeing me? Like, or have you seen videos? I guess I'm talking to you then directly. So, what brought you to the live stream? I'm very curious. Don't even know if you're subscribed. How do people do this all day? People sit on Twitch and like, wow, that's crazy. Oh, brother. Yeah. Okay, it looks like I got some more people coming into the chat, and if YouTube could actually, like, show me something useful. It says there's no participants, but the counter says there's 5 in here. Amazing. Seen vids before and subs, but Oh, sweet. You refreshed. Nice. Thanks a bunch because of your videos I was able to get through the Unified Gateway Fiber or Gateway Ultra and Bell. Thanks. No problem. Mark Raoul, you know what? And I'm apologizing for reading off my phone, but this UI for YouTube Live is a disaster. I've never done this before. I feel like I'm going to be saying this a lot in the video. So if you see me reading off my phone, it's nothing personal. I'm trying to throw the chat on the prompter that I'm talking to right now, but that's not happening. So, yeah, we get to deal with me holding my phone in my hand. So, you got a Unify Gateway Ultra. I got a question for you, actually, Mark Raoul. How is your PPPoE performance? Are you bypassed using the SFP, or are you going from like a home hub or giga hub into your Unified Gateway? Really curious about that. Anuj, which videos did you watch? Just out of curiosity. I have no idea who likes what on my channel. A lot of what I've done was based around Bell Fiber to the Home, and I've said this in videos. I am kind of sick of that topic, but I'll still do the videos. Like if something interesting, if something piques my interest, I should say, I'll do those videos, no problem. But I've got 6. I expect it to have literally 0. I expect it to sit here and stream to literally nobody. So I'm kind of glad I hit start streaming. So just wait for some answers here. If you're just coming in, hello, my name is Sean, TechMixr. This is my first live stream, and we're just testing stuff out, seeing if this is working, if my quality is good. By the way, how is my video quality? YouTube Studio is supposed to show me like a preview, and it's not because it's effing useless, but my OBS looks good. I'm just trying to figure out in terms of like how it looks to you guys watching. I don't know why it's only 1440p as well, because I have it set to 4K and I'm like cranking bitrate. That is weird. Interesting. Let's see. I feel like they commented and then they left. Retention curve goes like this. For those who are creators, you'll understand that reference. But yeah. So, okay. Looks like live stream works, which is pretty awesome. So I'm just going to talk about whatever. I actually have... I did a video about this recently, so I'm going to guess that some of you are here because of networking stuff and Bell Fiber to the Home and stuff like that. This is the... Oh, wait, can I use the overhead camera? I can. All right, so this was that Mint House adapter that I recently reviewed on the channel and was editing ProRes RAW video with. And I'll be honest, like, Mint House, and then you've got like Wavelink. Those companies, man, like they're low-cost products, but these things work. Although I have heard some people on the Linux platform were having some issues. Okay, yeah, no new comments. Or there might be comments, but YouTube is effing broken, and it's not gonna tell me because why would it? That's so fun. It says that there's 7 people watching right now, but if I were to go into participants, it says that I'm alone. This is kind of crazy. Oh boy. It wants to... Okay, either I broke the stream, or I don't know. YouTube seriously needs to figure it out. Yup, it broke the stream. That... Okay, no, it says I'm still alive. I think. Oh, man. I got nothing. I gotta leave the stream open in case anybody comments here. But yeah. Trying this live stream thing is not fun, but I think I've got a good handle on it in terms of like the setup. So if you are actually watching right now and I were to flip my camera over to, say, my desktop, you should still be able to hear me. And if you notice over here, this is my overhead camera's UI. That's a whole set of traumatic circumstances in which I have to use that. Story for another day. Yep. Again, I don't know if YouTube is just broken or what's going on. I have a feeling that it's just not updating properly, which is fun. Wow! YouTube's broken. All these comments. I literally... Wow, there... Watch your videos for Xbox and Fiber. Okay, I just gotta keep refreshing the stupid chat. I was just literally talking to 3 comments, and there's a whole bunch here. Oh my god, guys, thank you. Okay, let me get caught up here. Thanks a bunch, because your videos... Okay, I saw that one. I watched your video for Xbox and Fiber. Cloud Gateway Fiber. Let me be clear. With the Xbox and the SFP, holy crap, it's so much better. I was Home Hub 3000 to a PF Sunsbox, now straight to the UF Ultra. Oh, awesome. Okay, Mark Rowe. Perfect. Margaret Barsant, good. Looks and sounds crisp. There's some, like, if you're getting, like, feedback noise, I thought I read a comment just now. The feedback noise is, there's some, I'm using an Atomos monitor because I'm overkill, and there's some line noise between that. I gotta contact them because it's not supposed to do that. Watching a few of the ISP stuff, like bypassing the Bell router, review of the Bell internet, I think because I'm in the GTA, so... Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because I'm an hour north of the GTA, so that's, that tracks. I lived in Mississauga for, like, my whole life until, like, about 6 years ago, or 7 years ago. Yeah, I'm live. Yes, still live. Yeah, so... Oh, I'll talk about that in a second. While I got you, question. Yeah, DSL reports. Okay, so sound feedback. Yes, a little static sound. Yeah, the static is the line noise. It's probably an XLR cable or the monitor. I don't know. I got too many blasted wires here. Have you played Black Ops 7? Do you find it laggy at times? Okay, let's go back because I was just about to answer something. Where was I here? DSL reports. Okay, so I was on DSL reports a lot. It is kind of the Wild West, so now it's like Reddit and Discord. Discord is obviously the 83LL, the Bell Discord. That's a very good resource, but like I've said in other videos, don't bother them unnecessarily. But yeah, that seems to be where I like to go. Have I played Black Ops 7 and do you find it laggy at times? I don't find it laggy because, okay, Activision drives me a little crazy because they tend to, and you know what? There's probably more comments, but this stupid app is not updating them properly. So now I'm going to reload the video and, okay, no, maybe there is no more comments. Okay, Activision's weird because it's almost like different games, they ask you to open different ports on Xbox. It's so stupid. Through the cloud gateway, I can play for like a month, and I'm like OCD because like I test everything all the time. Xbox's speed test is kind of interesting because it shows you the current latency, and I'm assuming that's going to Microsoft servers. But when you run a speed test on Microsoft servers, I get around... When I was on the Home Hub, it was like 71. The best I think I ever saw on the Home Hub 4000, which is the only Bell equipment I have. The absolute best. I get jittery. Okay, yeah, I'll get to that in a sec. It would be like, the best I think I've seen was like 55. And it's still not great. With the Cloud Gateway Fiber, actually, sorry, with the Azores the first time, I think I got it down to like 31. When I first bypassed. And then when I got the WAS 110 with the Asus routers, I was sitting like high 20s, early 30s. And then with the Cloud Gateway Fiber, I've been sitting at like between 19 and 21 milliseconds. It's absolutely absurd. But the way I've done it is I actually just was like, all right, let's open as many ports as possible. So I basically Googled like every port possible for a Black Ops 7, and then when I change games, because like I don't play anything but Call of Duty, and like I'm not even a good Call of Duty player, I play with my buddies, when I do get to play, that is, But yeah, like every time a new game comes out, I'll just like go in and I make sure my Xbox is DHCP reserved. It has its own IP address, and then I assign the ports I need to. I get jittery at times. Should I do something different in settings? Okay, so it's hard to keep up with a lot of the comments from all the videos I've done, and I feel like I've seen you before. So let me know, what are you using? If it's GigaHub or HomeHub or GigaHub 2.0 or some other Bell equipment, I probably don't have an answer for you. I actually have a few comments that I haven't gotten to on some of the other videos because they're asking about like Bell equipment, and I have been bypassed since I want to say like July 2024, 2023. I've been bypassed for a while, and hopefully Bell's not watching this and they kill the stream. That would suck. Long time follower, first time commenter. What's in the pipeline for TechMixr? Oh, it's Crate Lab. What up? Oh, Asus. Wait, Margaret, do you have the AX89X? If so, let me know. I feel like, okay, it's starting to come back to me. What's in the pipeline for TechMixr? So, the name is TechMixr. So, originally, I was covering the Bell stuff, and that's when the channel started to take off a little bit. I say take off. I don't even know how many subs I have. It's not a great number by any means. Yeah, what am I at? 3,400? Yeah. So, it started off and it popped off when I did the Bell videos, which I'm going to be honest, the only reason I did those Bell videos was because nobody else had done it. And the ones who have done it, and no disrespect to them, because one of the people who did a Bell video, I actually happened to meet. That's a very weird story. I'll ask him first before I tell it if it's okay to tell that story. But yeah, the videos that were out, they did speed tests that were simple, but like there was not a lot to them. And the thing I found was the deeper dive into it hadn't been covered, and if it had been covered, 99% chance, and I'm speculating wildly, it might have been sponsored by Bell. So that's super annoying. Have you tried Wi-Fi 7 yet? Well, it's funny you asked that. That's a video that's coming. Yes, the one told you get. Yeah, so the AX89X, okay, I'm jumping all over the place because I'm new at this live stream thing, so everybody forgive me. Let me wrap up the first question there about TechMixr as a channel. So it's a mix of tech. That's the name, TechMixr. So I've got this stream deck here, which you think is for live streaming. It's really beat up. Oh wait, I can actually show this without holding it up. Yeah, so let's do that. So I got the stream deck right here. And if you look at it, it's actually like fairly beat up because I actually use this to edit video for my day gig. Yeah, so that's something I want to review, but in the context of content creation. For me, I don't want to get sick of making YouTube videos. I've been pretty burnt out. I have a lot of like other commitments I have to tend to on top of a day job as well, or like a day contract gig. So that's why not a lot goes on the channel. Although, if you've noticed in January, I didn't make some resolution. I just got angry in December while I was super busy and said, okay, I need to pump out more content. So anyway, TechMixr is a mix of tech and things that I'm like genuinely interested in is what I'm going to cover. And if a sponsor wants to send something, I have like rigorous rules for that because I want to make sure that you guys watching don't get ripped off. And I don't want to be one of those creators that's like, this is great, and then it sucks. Like, I don't want to be that guy. All right. Anyway, Crate Lab. Hope that answers that question. Okay, Margaret. All right. So, AX89X. Here's what I would do. And actually, no, this is what I did. First thing, you're going to take your Xbox and plug it in gigabit or however, well, gigabit. You don't want to waste a 10 gig port with that. Assign it, give it a DHCP reservation. Wow, I haven't used the Asus since I got the Cloud Gateway in June. But if I remember it correctly, you're going to go to your LAN, and then you're going to set up a DHCP reservation. You're going to add it, and then you'll see the MAC address. You can probably pull the MAC address from the settings in the Xbox dashboard. And then what you want to do is, some people are going to argue with me about this, and I'm not a networking engineer, But I feel like the amount of security patches that Microsoft puts to the Xbox, this should be fine. You're going to want to put the Xbox in a DMZ. What I think, so that way there's no port locking. That just means it's got an open pipe to the Xbox. Now, I don't know if necessarily that's like the best way to do it on the Asus, but for me, that's when I saw the best pings, and any jittery nonsense would be gone because again, you're not going to have to port forward when it's in the DMZ, and DMZ is like a demilitarized zone, which is like AKA no firewall rules. Do not, yeah, I better say this before this gets clipped and I get taken completely out of context. Do not put anything in the DMZ unless you absolutely have to, because the DMZ basically is an open is like an open port free for all. It kind of puts the onus on Microsoft to make sure that their security holes are patched. If you saw the look on my face right now, I'm just thinking about like there are probably thousands and thousands of users right now doing a Windows update to have their computer not boot. If you're on Windows, you know exactly what I'm talking about as of late. Let's see. Yes, the one I told you to get. Yeah, the AX89X. Must be good living the fiber life. I'm still on DSL. I have 2 DSL lines that is bonded, so pair bond, to get 100 megabit currently with Virgin, so Bell, but it's going soon. Okay, I have a question, Anuj. Is it going soon because Virgin stopped selling, or are you switching? And it's very important. That's a very important distinction because Virgin, I believe they EOL'd new signups, but I think, and don't quote me on this, but I believe they're still servicing people who have internet through Virgin. That whole sentence was redundant. You get what I mean. Okay, next one. By the way, oh wait, sorry. Have you tried Wi-Fi 7 yet? Okay, let's talk about this. This makes me smile. I did a video a couple weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, apologizing to a brand called Fine. It's spelled Fine. Moving on, that's just how they pronounce it, as Fine, not Fine. And in that video, I talked about products I want to review, and you know, one of them was this Mint House adapter, and then another product that was on the table was a Unify E7. So the E7 is an access point that is part of the Unify ecosystem. So obviously it works with the Cloud Gateway Fiber. I'm going to spoil the whole review by doing this. I set it up in kind of like a halfway point between where my 2 AX89X routers lived, and removed the AX89X entirely, and now I'm using the E7. Nothing was wrong with the AX89X. I mean, Wi-Fi 6, it's not 6E. That was Wi-Fi 6, not 6E. And honestly, the E7 it's don't want to cuss on the live stream. It's effing overkill. Like, it's so crazy. The problem is I only have one Wi-Fi 7 device, and it's this iPhone 16 Pro Max. And if you know with the iPhone, what tends to happen, or not tends to happen, Apple being Apple, I use all their products, and yet it's like I'm a sucker for punishment. Oh, a YouTube series. Apple restricted the channel bandwidth to 160 megahertz, where Wi-Fi 7 is capable of 320. So what that means is you essentially get half speed from the sorry, something just popped up on my screen here. No, I don't want to do that. That was really weird. Why did that happen? Yeah, so, sorry. So 320 megahertz is the full channel bandwidth. Because the iPhone can only do 160, that means it has access to half the bandwidth, essentially. However, 1600 megabit or 1.6 gigabit in both directions on Wi-Fi as like the max, and I've seen it. I've done it quite a few times. But you have to be standing like right next to the thing. That's incredible. So, yeah, I've been running Wi-Fi 7 since around Father's Day. The reason I laugh about this is I got this from a viewer, this access point. Very awesome person. And yeah, he hooked me up. I'm not sure what the situation is there as to how he was able to hook me up, but he gave me time to pay him for it, so definitely gonna make sure he's taken care of. But yeah, answer your question. Yes, I've tried Wi-Fi 7. It is bloody awesome. I get like 3 milliseconds, 4 milliseconds ping on Wi-Fi, which is stupid. Let's see. By the way, for me, the reason I watch YouTube videos on insert item is to get different opinion or perspective on said item, just like the new Apple Studio service. Oh, is it the Creator Studio service? Wait, you're on a cloud gateway now. I'm still on my AX89X Live. Any chance we can get a video set up for how to go from one to the other? So I guess I kind of did that video. Okay, let me address Anuj first. So I'm assuming that you're talking about Apple Creator Studio. I actually literally just put a video up this morning about that. And my thoughts on who they're aiming that at. So if you haven't had a chance, go ahead and watch that one. Yeah, it's an interesting perspective, but it's more from the perspective of who Apple's aiming at. All right, back to this comment here. So in terms of how to go from one to the other, there's no real migration. If I don't know if you watch this, but I did a 45-minute plus video about bypassing Bell, and it was setting up the Cloud Gateway Fiber coming from the AX89X. In that video, because I didn't have an access point at the time from Unify, what I did was I set up the Cloud Gateway Fiber, and then I used the two AX89X routers as mesh node to connect Wi-Fi to the Cloud Gateway until I got an access point. But it's not that hard. Actually, Unify is really easy to use. The way I did the Wi-Fi in that video is kind of like I guess a budget way to do the access point thing. You obviously are not going to get the access point features that are in the Unify software if you're using like the AX89X as your Wi-Fi like transmitter receiver access point. I know words apparently. Let's see. Yeah, switching because of better deals. I guess they will still service you if you are paying. Right. Because I watched Creator Studio this morning, YouTube slapped me with the live stream. Oh, okay, fair. Okay. Anuj, that makes sense. Yeah. I don't even know how to answer that. Okay, so you watched Creator Studio. Okay, found the video. I'm gonna research and maybe try that. Thanks. No problem. This isn't to say I want to be clear about this. There's nothing wrong with the Asus. I say this because I have two of them. They were not cheap. They're good routers. For my use case with the Cloud Gateway, because I'm bypassed with the SFP, like I had to I don't have it near me. I had to Dremel out the side of it. It's in the video as well, where like we Dremeled out, me and a buddy. We literally took out a chunk of the plastic so the SFP would clear the heatsink. It was fine, but I don't know. I wanted to try something different, and there are certain features in my day job that were like certain networking features I needed that the Cloud Gateway can do. I'll say this: if you've never been on Unify before, it's pretty dangerous. And the price of this networking is starting to come down a lot. Like 10 gig networking is getting super accessible versus how it used to be. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. I got 9 people watching. Again, if you watch this from when I started the stream, I expect it to have like 0, and that I'd be talking to nobody. And like, I just figured I would test the live stream. And YouTube made me wait 24 hours before hitting live because I tried to go live a couple weeks ago, and YouTube stopped me dead in my tracks because I've never done this before. So, yeah, I'm just checking my stream stats. 0 drop frames. By the way, for those watching, is it still in 1440p or is it coming up as 4K now? Because no, I still see 1440p on my phone. And I have a feeling that chat is not refreshing properly. Oh no, we're good. Okay. Yeah, I might only stay on for a couple more minutes. I just want to make sure that this is working, and if I do a live stream again, then at least I'm set up for it. Like I have a whole profile set up in OBS, and yeah. Let's see, 1440p, and it's clear AF. Awesome. Okay, so does anybody care what the live stream setup is? It's the same YouTube studio setup. Like this camera that I'm looking at right now lives in perpetuity there. That's not moving. Yeah, if anybody cares about the setup, it's kind of a interesting way I'm doing it. I've got 10 gig Ethernet coming to this unboxing table, so that's why when I do reviews of any high-speed networking stuff, I can at least access my network from here via 10 gig, which is pretty damn sick. But yeah, there's a lot going on this table. By the way, I didn't even get to ask because I'm totally rude here. How is everybody's Sunday? How's everybody doing? If you're in Ontario like I am, it is cold as balls outside, so that's not optimal. It is pretty damn cold, and I'm an hour north of the city, so you can imagine the treachery. Although I heard the GTA got it worse than we did in a lot of ways fairly recently, so that's not great. Yeah. So is it Mark Levy? Okay, so in terms of, I'll just, you know what? Nobody answered the question, so I'm just gonna start saying it. F it. I'm using a Panasonic Lumix S5 Mark II, feeding into an Atomos Ultra Shogun Ultra monitor. On the side. Oh. Okay. One sec. Another question came in. Yeah, and that's going to a Camlink 4K, which is being fed into my MacBook, and here we are. All right. Okay, question. Would you be happy with Videotron if they came to Ontario? I've heard lots of good stuff about the hardware and service. You know what? Let's see if I can not dox myself here. This is going to be fun. All right, so what we're going to do is we are actually going to switch to my desktop. And let's see here. Videotron. I have never looked at Videotron's plans, so I can't necessarily comment on it. However, let's take a look at this together, shall we? Let's see. Let's see what we're working with here. I'm going to choose English and not use Google Translate. Let's see. Internet plans. See, I can't comment necessarily in terms of whether or not Videotron is good. I'd have to do some research in terms of like customer satisfaction. But here, let's go back here. Let's take a look. By the way, don't mind this in the corner. That's just to control my overhead camera. If you weren't here when I said that. Okay, so they have fiber. Get the best out of your power, reliability, blah, blah, blah. Oh, God. Okay, we promise not to dox. I appreciate that. Let's see. Before I do this, let me just come back. Can somebody give me... Here, I'm going to find a Quebec address. Just so that we can, No, I don't want a virtual. I just want like a... I don't know. We'll look up, I need some kind of area in Quebec. You know what? Maybe I can just punch in a postal code. You know what? Yeah, let's do that. I know that you're not seeing my screen right now, but I'm going to switch back now. Okay. So I'm just going to put this in. Sure. Verify it. Commercial address. Damn it. Okay, no, that didn't work. Yeah. Foil me. Oh, I have a message that is held for review. Compare with Rogers or just pick an ON address. See, here's the problem. The problem is, if I pick an ON address, I don't think it's gonna work. Cause I think Videotron's internet is only in Quebec. Both taps Quebec. Okay, you know what? Phone taps. Yes. Let's see. Okay, so I know you're not seeing my screen right now. No, I need to get an actual Quebec address. Although here, let me try something because I don't think you can see my screen right now. I'm just gonna try a local address to me. Yeah, they don't offer services to that address. Okay. 510. Oh, you know what the problem is? I think. Okay, I'm reading this address. The only thing I'm worried about is, does that come up as a corporate address? Videotron is not. What did you say? 510 Rue Roger? Yeah, not available at that address. So that's not going to work. Yeah, I found on Google Maps, but they're not. Hey, Videotron, do you want to expand to Ontario? Because Bell is still crying about their fiber to the home rollout. And what is the other one? Telmax? Telmax is another one that's they're not actually using Bell's lines. They're actually dropping their own fiber. Where I live, they've been digging up the ground, and they're even working through the winter, which I don't understand that, but all right, sure. Ice isn't the thing for them apparently. They can dig through whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so in terms of Videotron, you know what? If they're competitive, did you ask me if I would switch? Would I be happy? I'd be happy if there's any competition, because that just makes the companies better. Well, you would think. Oh, we got another address here. Right here. Let me try this one. Let's see. So what do we have here? 2520. I'm not even going to try. Checking. It's doing something. I love that there's a button on this website that says I can't find my address, but it looks like we got plans here. Okay, let's take a look here. So I see gigabit, although you're not telling me the upload. 30, so that's cable. That's not fiber. That's something else you got to contend with as well. Once you see slow upload speeds and things that are not symmetrical necessarily, that's when you start running into is it cable or is it fiber, right? So 99.9% of the time that you see gigabit down and 30 megabit up, that's cable. So that's not competitive with the fiber to the home offerings. So if they offered fiber, they offered good speed, compelling price. These are obvious takes, but there are other things I want to see, like, IPv6 support. I have been yelling about this. And also this PPPoE BS that Bell insists on doing is super mega annoying, because that just causes your hardware to heat up. That's why people are resorting to, like, trying to find better routers, like everybody who bought the Asus AX89X. I'm pretty sure I single-handedly sold a bunch of those because it was one of the only, like, more expensive but still consumer routers that could actually accelerate PPPoE. Why is it keep... Okay. It's holding comments for review. All right, I'm going to try this one. This is the last address I'm going to try, by the way. Just because, like, we can't make the whole stream about checking addresses. That's not fair to everybody else, obviously. But here, let's see. So, 82 Rue Bruno Dion. It says change your address, and then it literally puts the old address in there. That literally, wow. All right. This looks like it's a complex. And what does it say? Good news, there are plans. Shop plans. Let's see what happens. I should have really done a picture-in-picture for this. You know, for a website that's oh, okay, hang on a second. That's interesting. Okay. The plan's changed, but 940.50. You get the Helix Fi app, an ultra powerful and smart Wi-Fi. An ultra powerful and smart Wi-Fi. Okay. Bad translation, but you're literally a corporation. Moving on. Okay. So again, we're not seeing great upload speed. I'm going to guess that this is also cable, but it's really interesting. Okay, it says check the router. Okay. Can I get 2.5 giga? Okay, yeah, so 2.5 giga symmetrical will be available progressively in Videotron's fiber to the home network areas. So yeah. Okay, when we see 2.5, that's when we're in the fiber to the home offerings. But where do I see the modem? I really want to see the modem. Okay, see all maybe? No, it's all plans. Internet. Check the router. Okay, I'm gonna switch back for a sec. Yeah, I'm not sure what router they're using. Just gonna take a look here. Customize for optimal. Okay, here, let's do this, actually. What is it? Helix router. I'll bring my screen back up in a moment. Okay, the Helix gateway. Let's take a look. Let's see what's happening here. All-in-one mode. Oh, it's a Hytron, I think. Oh, like, give me a view of this. Tech specs. Yeah, this looks like the Rogers modem, which I believe is manufactured by Hytron. Yeah, the Helix Fi gateway. Okay, what's the gateway to? On the front, you have an indicator. Awesome. Okay, on the back, you've got ports. WPS button. Telephone cord input. Yeah, so you can do... Okay. So this is just... It looks like this router is literally just a shortcut so they can do VoIP and offer telephone service over the internet. But again, this looks suspiciously like the Rogers modem. Yeah. Can I be completely honest? This feels like a complete nothing burger. Like, it feels like... I don't know. I feel like if Videotron brings themselves here, it's just more of the same nonsense. I can appreciate another company coming in, but if they're going to do exactly what Rogers does and what Bell does, offering, like, low-end equipment... Because I'm going to be honest, like, the Ignite stuff, the Hytron stuff, the Sagecom Bell stuff... It's not great. Hello, sir. Hello, Jason Rowe. And I'm getting a comment on... Why is YouTube sending me comments while I'm live? Like, really? Oh, this is about the prompter. Let's respond to this person quick. Jump onto the live stream that's live now, and I'll answer this. Sure. Somebody just commented on the prompter video. Okay, but before I get to that, let's continue here. Yeah, so what I was saying is like the Sagecoms, the Hytrons, cheaper equipment. Because look, here's how these ISPs work, essentially. And this is why I tell people Not that I'm endorsing it, but you're better off running a bridge mode if you can, or bypassing entirely, although I bypass at your own risk. So I'm going to tell a story about a company that services an area about an hour and a half from me. That company is called Kojiko. Kojiko is weird because they have cable, and that's fine. But they name their like service fiber or something, but it's cable. It's like fiber to the node and then cable to your house. So it's the same crap like Rogers, right? Rogers cable anyway. But here's where it gets really wild. A friend of mine has a Hytron modem, which is literally the exact same modem that I had when I was on Rogers. To the point that when you logged into it, outside of the splash screen, the user interface was the same. So if you're on Rogers, you know that there's a bridge mode, so you can just you plug your Ethernet in, you disable residential gateway, because residential gateway is the routing functions of that. So when you disable it, it gets rid of Wi-Fi, and it basically turns the router into just the modem, thus the bridge mode. His modem had the same option, but here's the funny part, is when you do that operation, it needs to reboot. So when it reboots, that's when it takes effect. The problem with the Hytron that Kojiko has, I don't know if this has changed. I'm going to guess it hasn't, because wheels of corporations move super slow. But when you change the setting, it would reboot, but then it would revert to the old setting. And the only way to enable bridge mode was to call customer service, because they deemed that that was something that had to be enabled on their end. And they also told me on the phone when I called, this was like a half an hour ordeal, but they told me that at any point, a software update could revert it back. And the reason I'm telling this whole story is because ISPs buy these Hytrons and these Sagecoms in bulk. They get like this like pallet of them, and then they flash their firmware on them. Or maybe they send the firmware file off to the manufacturer, and the manufacturer flashes them, and then they get them back, and then they distribute. The problem is that you don't know, especially with that situation with Kojiko, like you don't know what they're gonna do to the firmware, because they tried to give me some BS line on the phone that like, oh well, that hardware is not capable of that. We need to do special instructions. Like, shut up. No, you don't. No, it's your team who developed the firmware locked out the ability to turn on bridge mode, right? Because you want to, for whatever reasons corporations do this, I don't know, and I'm not even going to get into that, but they literally disabled it. So what bothers me is if Videotron were to come in and offer more of these like lower end devices. Like, let's be honest, there's no real security implication of bypassing. This isn't an endorsement of bypassing, by the way. I keep saying that because I'm not trying to I don't even think I could get sued. I just don't want to face any crap because like that'll just give me a headache. But the thing is that you don't know what's happening with the network. That's why the GigaHub, you see countless reports, even people in the chat in this live stream. They I feel like the chat froze again because, man, me and YouTube, we were going to fight to the death. Yeah, it did freeze. Awesome. Helix Spy, Gateway. Yeah, so the problem is that you don't know what they're going to do to the firmware. They could literally brick a setting in the firmware, and they're not going to fix it until somebody reports it, and 99% of the people that are like really hardcore about networking, 99% of the customers aren't hardcore about networking at all, so they'll probably never fix it. That's why when you bypass something like the Home Hub, you suddenly go, oh, I'm not feeling this inherent lag anymore, like when I'm gaming or this or that. So I'm gonna I guess hard stop there about Videotron, because just based on the page and based on what the gateway looks like, it looks like it's just going to be the same crap. That's my honest opinion. You know what? That person didn't join the live stream because they're a jerk. No, they didn't join the live stream. So I am just going to pull up their comment. So I did a video recently about the Elgato Prompter XL, and it said, I think I'm at an impasse. I am looking to buy an Elgato Prompter, but after looking all over YouTube, this voice sync may be a deal breaker. Yeah. I mean, I have to use another software for this feature to work well for me. I might have to consider other alternatives. And you know whose fault that is? That is the fault of Elgato. And sorry, just getting a bunch of text messages that I shouldn't be reading on stream. Yeah, my normal habit is to close my phone, but I've never live streamed before, and I need to keep it open so I can read comments. The only reason I tolerate the GigaHub at the moment, I am with Alliance, so no PPPoE nonsense. Alright, yeah, and YouTube completely froze. I have to close the app and reopen it. I missed, oh my god, how many comments did I miss? Okay, is bypassing illegal? I don't know what ISP gives up by doing this. Okay, ISPs can retain control. This is very. I wish I had that tinfoil hat thing. I would put it on right now. They can control the way you experience TV. They can control your internet connection. They can shape traffic. They can disable things that you might sail the high seas to do, if you get what I'm saying. They have ways of just shaping the traffic overall. So, sorry, I'm really frustrated that the YouTube Studio is not updating properly on the computer, and the chat on my phone is just like, nah, fam, we're not even gonna bother. Yeah. So, is it illegal? I don't think it's illegal. I think it definitely breaks the terms of service because you're not using Bell's equipment. I don't see it being a security risk because ultimately the security side would be on Bell's end, on their end, their servers, to lock people out of, using that equipment. But I honestly think Bell doesn't care because nothing negative can truly happen from it, right? It just means that, like, if your internet goes down, and you better be able to find your GigaHub or your Home Hub. Otherwise, it's going to be a very interesting conversation with the tech that shows up at your house. Okay, so hello, TechMixr. Hello, King of Pest Nation. I probably am saying that wrong, but hello. Jason Price says, the only reason I tolerate the GigaHub at the moment is I am with Alliance, so no PPPoE nonsense. Really think about that for a minute. I envy you because you have DHCP, which means you could basically, if I understand this correctly, is there a bridge mode in Alliant? And oh shoot, our Korea's in the chat, and I just talked about you without mentioning you, but yeah. And I have a feeling that the chat froze again. This is amazing. Close the YouTube app, wait a couple seconds, reopen the YouTube app, go back to my live. Oh, what a life. Yep. Oh my god. How is YouTube this big of a company? Okay, let me get my thoughts back here. If Alliant has a way for you to bridge the connection, that would be awesome. Because the biggest hurdle is the PPPoE from the GigaHub. But then again, back to the conversation we were just having about ISPs and the way they treat firmware is not optimal. So yeah, I believe DJ Gurr, the guy behind, one of the many behind the bypass firmware, is on Alliant as well. So something to consider there. Okay, so our Korea. I was just talking about the E7. So don't bother him about this, by the way. But our Korea was the one who gave me the hookup on the E7, but he didn't give me the E7. I actually owe you money, so I got to figure that out. Get subscribed and send super chats so I can afford the E7. No. A sponsor deal would be nice, but anyway, moving on. But yeah, no, our Korea is absolutely amazing, and I don't know what I did to deserve that, but I'll text you soon. We'll work that out like ASAP. It's just been hectic. Life's been insane. Bell Alliant never used PPPoE and have a proper bridge mode. Jason, let me ask you a question. Do you game? And if so, do you use like a console or PC? And bridge mode versus directly from Bell's equipment, what was your latency like? Something I want to know. And then also, well, I was gonna ask you something else, and now I can't remember. What connection speed are you on? Yeah. Kings of Pest Nation, quick question. I'm on a GigaHub 2.0, but the IPv6 doesn't provide an IP address, even when being enabled. My PS5 has it set to automatic. I'm on DHCP as well. Okay, so when I did the video about the GigaHub 2, I had heard about IPv6 working. I can't say who told me, but I heard about it working. Now, that being said, Virgin has IPv6 going. Bell Mobility, like 5G LTE, has IPv6 going. Bell Commercial and Business, they have IPv6. I feel like Bell has had a couple of outages recently, and I feel like they're trying something, like they're trying to migrate over to IPv6. I've also heard recently, and I need to validate this, not to say that the person who told me is inaccurate, but I need to validate this, that north of the city, some technicians are seeing IPv6 addresses coming up on the GigaHub 2.0. I can't confirm or deny that. I don't have IPv6. Where they're saying is in my neighborhood. I haven't seen it. It's really about Bell flipping that switch. So I would just kind of wait and see. I know that sucks. We've been waiting for IPv6 forever, but that's, the name of the game. PC Gamer, and I don't have any latency issues with their router. I'm running on 3 gig. Jason Rowe, same. Jason's an old friend of mine. I was actually thinking about you the other night. Just fun to check in with you. Jason Price, my longer term intention is to go bridged and flip to a unified cloud gateway fiber. I already have a U7 Wall Pro running. You have a U7. What's your current? Because if you're bridging out of your GigaHub, what's your current router? Interesting. Yeah, the cloud gateway fiber. This is what we're streaming on right now, and I've got 10 gig going to this MacBook, and I don't see any drop frames. And I've got 2 of those Nick Giga switches. If you saw any of my videos about Bell since June, I mentioned Nick Giga, the racially ambiguous unmanaged switch that can self-housed. Anuj, I don't know what you mean. Oh, Jason, did you buy a cloud gateway fiber as well? Okay, I see you're writing self-hosting Anuj, but I don't know in what context. Off the single 10 gig port on the GigaHub, and I easily get 1.5 on the S24 on Wi-Fi. Okay, so on my iPhone 16 Pro Max, I get like 1.5, 1.6, 1.7. Jason, so they only released the cloud gateway fiber in June. Sorry, no, that's not true. Sorry. In Canada, I believe we got it in June. In the States, I think it was like February or March, but it's still... Oh, Jason is self-hosting the Unify. There's 2 Jasons. Help. Let's see. Hey, God. I'm trying to see where you saw self-hosting. And which Jason are we talking about? Let's see. Helix Wi-Fi. Okay, you self-host the U7 off a home server. Okay. That makes sense. I believe I heard this before, that Unify has a tool for that. If you're running like pfSense or that you can run your access points. Yeah, stupid multiple Jasons coming in here and confusing me. This is my first live stream, damn it. Come on. Give me some credit here. Yeah, so I heard that Unify I believe that Unify allows you to use like an outboard piece of software to control the access points. How are you doing that? That's actually pretty cool. I like that. Because I considered something like that, but I was like, honestly, I'm lazy and I don't want to like set up PFSense. I'm probably gonna end up doing it for a video on the channel at some point. Don't quote me on that. That's just thinking out loud. But yeah, like that's an interesting proposition. I preferred the Cloud Gateway Fiber because it was like turnkey. I've watched some of your okay. Some of your past videos to have my PS5 get the lowest ping jitter. Can you advise what I can do to have the best? I'm on 3 gig up and down fiber network. Okay, so I want to address something first in that comment. You could be on 10 meg up and down. It won't affect your latency at all because you're not sending that much data back and forth, right? Your throughput is your 3 gigabit. Gaming doesn't take that much bandwidth. The thing where bandwidth's going to help you is obviously your software updates, downloads, stuff like that. Let's see. I also placed my PS5 on a reserved IP instead of dynamic. Works pretty well. I do it off Windows and has been running for a year that way. Okay, awesome. So sorry, I'm a little confused. You said, and I want to answer your question. So you have a server. So U7's going into the server. Server is your router? Like, what is routing all your traffic? Okay, yeah, so Jay, you got it in June. Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, it's, I love that thing. Jay, did you watch my video in Bypass? That's hilarious. And when I say, okay, because of the multiple Jason situation, if I say Jason, I'm referring to Jason Price. Is it Price? Yeah, it's Price. And if I say Jay, I'm referring to Jason Rowe, because I know Jason Rowe, like, IRL. Look at the boomer trying to use acronyms from the internet. Let's go. Okay, so yeah, Jason, what's routing your traffic though? You said you have your U7 connected to a server. Okay, Jay, did you bypass? Did you get the SFP and everything? That's interesting. I did not know that you would have done all that. Dude, why didn't you call me? Come on now. Actually, because he knows I'm like swamped with work. That's probably why he didn't call. Yeah, so Jason Price, you self-host the U7 off a home server. Right, but what's routing your traffic to Bell? Like, is it your GigaHub to that thing? Like, to your server? Is that what I mean to understand? GigaHub's the router stuff. Okay. All right. Now, my answer for you? Yeah, so, yeah, Jay, yeah, shh. I'm really bad with DMs. Okay, so Jay, my bad. I'm a DM disaster. Jason, if you're willing to bypass, you will get the best latency with the WAS 110 and a Cloud Gateway Fiber. And the amount of granular control, like ask Jason Rowe, or Jay as I just referred to him. It's insane. Like, okay, for context, like I set my YouTube to low latency for the stream, and I could have probably set it to ultra low because the computer's like, what? I don't even know my CPU usage. I know it's in the super low territory. The only thing I have to worry about is constantly refreshing YouTube itself because it is a disaster. Let's reopen it again. Hold on. Close YouTube. Wait a couple seconds. God, I hate this. I'm going to begrudgingly reopen my browser and see if it tells me anything. The best part is like, God, I hate this. You know, YouTube has like in the dashboard, if you've ever live streamed, you know this, but if you had never live streamed before, YouTube has like this like chat window, which does nothing. It's not even showing me any of the chat. And then I'm using YouTube's app with the stream running to respond and read the chat, and I keep having to close it and reopen it. What is the Michael Scott to Toby line? Why are you the way that you are? Or what were the questions he asked during Toby's exit interview? Who do you think you are? What gives you the right? Anyway, now I'm just rambling. I had a buddy bypass using the Unify Fiber on the 8 gig plan. We couldn't get it past the 3 gig speed until I turned on hardware acceleration on the... Yeah, this is interesting, our Korea, because mine was enabled by... Actually, sorry, no, I know why. When I got mine, the firmware didn't even have the hardware acceleration like toggle. It was just enabled by default. And then when I did the Unified Network and the Cloud Gateway firmware and all that stuff, I think it just retained that setting. So I don't know if by default, with the if it ships with the firmware, if it's off by default. It might be. It's kind of like NAT acceleration. That was what I was trying to think of earlier with the AX89X. With the NAT acceleration, that's disabled by default. So, yeah, the more you know. Oh, I know, I'm chomping at the bit for it. I got bit by the 3D printer bug, so I sunk money there. Soon, I really want that UCG fiber. Our Korea, you're going to get a good laugh out of this. Talk about 3D printers. So, when our Korea handed me the E7, he also gave me some 3D printed VESA stands with screws. I snapped one of the stands. Totally by accident. So now I've got it VESA mounted to something else, which is more hilarious than anything. And I really want to put that in a video. Now I'm interested to compare. Yeah. So yeah. Me and 3D printing, not a thing. All right. I want to get to some more questions here, but yeah. Chomping at the bit. Yeah, Jason. So it's good. It's very good. Our Korea, I know you're unified out. What are you running right now? Like, what's your main router? So, let me know in the chat. Anuj says, now I'm interested to compare a self-hosted Unify and a gateway fiber. What you give up and limitation of self-hosting. Okay, the one thing I'll say, and everybody talks about this, but I would say your best bet with a cloud gateway fiber is probably going to be efficiency. And also, you can install apps on it, like if you put the SSD in it. Although SSD prices are... And RAM, oh my god. Those prices are out of control right now. But if you throw like a 512 gig SSD in there, you could run some of the apps like Unify Protect. Unify is like the Apple equivalent of a networking ecosystem. So, it is pretty cool. Although, like... It's a very user-friendly implementation. It can still get in the weeds, but nothing's going to beat like pfSense and like OpenWRT and that kind of stuff. Like that stuff's insane. You can get like really into the weeds. Jay says BRB. Okay, so Sanji. That's a lot of E's. Did you get a GigaHub 2.0? I did not. And let me explain why. I actually talked about this in the Discord, but I'll bring it up here. The reason is because I actually, hopefully Bell's not watching this and I don't catch any crap for this, but I have a perpetual discount, not because of YouTube. Let me make that abundantly clear. But well before I did the YouTube channel, I had a discount on my line that was perpetual. And they said if I upgraded plans, note how I'm saying this. If I upgraded speed tiers or plans, then I could keep my discount. If I downgraded, I lose the discount. And they weren't sure if I switched hardware, like the quote rental equipment, like the Home Hub 4000, which is what's on my account at the moment. That Home Hub 4000 has been used once in the last few years, and that was for when I did the 45-minute bypass video where I was using the Home Hub 4000 to get the cloud gateway working. But no, I didn't update because I don't want to mess with the plan. Okay, UCG fiber, Unified Cloud Gateway fiber, into the Unified 24 power over Ethernet switch, plus four E7s? My guy. I was worried about my one. Like, dude, like, okay, so the E7, I get... In the furthest part of my house, I get gigabit on my phone. either way, like either direction. So yeah, okay. Our Korea should start doing YouTube videos because this setup's insane. Um, how's the switchover? Like when it jumps from access point to access point? Because I only need one access point. So that's hilarious. Sanji, I'm going back to you for a sec. Yeah, I did get the GigaHub too. I've also heard that some people are having issues with the PPPoE on the GigaHub 2, which is really disheartening. Also, I don't want to mess with the network setup if it's working. Like, I do have a day job. Like, I don't make nearly enough off YouTube to justify switching stuff and testing stuff because I got to make money, right? Like, we all have jobs, right? So I can't devote that time. Although, like, anything can change, right? Like if this YouTube thing actually picks up and, I can make some really, really good income, but everything E7 or U7 Pro XGS. Okay, so if you're asking about our Korea, I promise you it's 4 E7s. If you're asking about me, it's 1 E7. And if you're asking about Jason Price, I believe he said U7. Now, whether it's a Pro XGS, I'm not totally sure. But yeah. Our Korea, correct me if I'm wrong. You were referring to E7, right? Yeah. I'm pretty sure you meant E7. Oh, yes. Sorry, I'm an idiot because when we met up, you actually told me that you had got the Cloud Gateway but hadn't set it up yet. And then I put my video out, which was like perfect timing for you. How are you liking the Cloud Gateway Fiber? I want to do a long-term review of it, but I don't know enough about Unify to do that review, and I feel like it would be total blasphemy to those who actually are good with Unify for me to do that video. Yeah, U7 Pro wall for me. That's Jason Price, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll wait for our Korea if he's still here. What do you think the best current score? Oh, ooh, okay. We're entering into PCMR, and surprisingly, you know what? Let me just throw my phone on. Yeah, we'll throw it like this so I can read that better. Okay. I have thoughts. Because the problem is we're in the RAM apocalypse right now, thanks to AI slop. You're just AI in general. This is a tough one. I'm also a Mac user for the most part, but that doesn't mean I don't keep up. I try to keep up. How desperate are you for a GPU right now is my question. Because I can't even believe I'm saying this, but I think Intel with Arc is starting to make some noise. There's something very, very interesting on the Intel Arc CPU side of things that I saw at CES. I didn't go to CES, I mean with the coverage. I saw something very interesting, but if you can get a used 4080, that might be your best bet. Unfortunately, because of everything going through the roof, trying to find a legitimate one on like a third-party marketplace of sorts, you're probably going to run into issues. Think a 4080 or a 4090. Those are good cards. Those are strong cards. I don't really, like I said, I don't keep so much up with pricing, but I feel like the 50 series is just going to be inflated because all of the I currently have a 3060 Ti, but I want a 4K game. I'm assuming you don't want to use frame gen either, so okay. Honestly, what's that site that Linus always promotes? Jawa for third party? They might be a good option. Like, I don't know. If I were in your shoes, I'd get like a 4080 third party or like a second hand. A second hand 4080 is probably a very solid choice. But yeah, I wouldn't go near a 50 series right now. If you really are desperate and you can't and you have to go that way, that's probably my recommendation. Otherwise, I'm so curious about what Intel's going to do with Arc. What they're doing on the CPU side is interesting. They're introducing media engines. It's the one part about Apple Silicon that nobody talks about, but yet is probably the main reason why Apple Silicon is wiping the floor with people right now. It's part of their media engine implementation in the Apple Silicon for video playback, video decode, video encode, crazy stuff. Yeah, that's my answer for GPUs. But again, I'm not a authority on this because I'm Mac'd out. Like I'm in the Mac ecosystem, so I would say, you know, what could be a good option? A six, if you can find one secondhand that hasn't been like destroyed, like a Radeon 6900 XT. That could be something. Are you still running Temu Fan? I am. I'm logged into a different profile where I would check my temps. I haven't checked for the winter, but okay, I should have done a video about this back then, but you know, life's insane. All right, our Korea brings up a good one here. The SFP gets really hot. That's why they put a heatsink on it. And my stupid ass broke the heatsink on mine and had to like thermal glue it back on. That was early, that was well before I did the bypass video. Anyway, so I put the heatsink back on and I actually got better temperatures surprisingly after the fact. But ended up buying a fan off Temu, which dropped my temps from, I want to say, 62 degrees. You know what? I was actually texting our Korea, and we were sending I was sending screenshots, so I can actually tell you what those numbers are. One moment, please. Let's see. Okay, so this is back when we were talking the GigaHub 2 rumor. iMessage is broken. All right, I want to say it was like 62 adjacent, 62 degrees Celsius. And in the hot summer, like when it was like humidex of like 48, or it's not 48, 38, 39, I think it was down to about 40 degrees Celsius. Like it was substantial. The thing is with the fan, I noticed that my pings dropped from 29 milliseconds down to like 19 on Xbox, which was insane. And again, I'm going to close the YouTube app, wait a couple seconds, reopen the YouTube app, and hopefully the chat has refreshed. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, I'm still using the Temu fan. It's an interesting concept to throw like a random USB powered fan on your SFP. Speaking of fans and cooling and all that wonderful stuff, sorry you missed my question. Sorry you missed my question. I have watched some of your past videos and got the lowest ping. No, I answered this. Yeah, you said that you're on Bell Alliant, right? I believe? Or am I missing this? Or am I thinking of Jason? I'm probably thinking of Jason. Yeah, if you're hearing me read your comment, King of Pest Nation, yeah, just start writing in here so that I know that you're listening. Are you on Bell Alliant or do you use PPPoE? Like, whereabouts are you located? I guess is my question. If you're on Bell Alliant, or sorry, if you're on a GigaHub and you want to get the lowest possible ping, honestly, not that I'm recommending it, but the bypass seems to be the way. And if you missed my part about this, I kind of mentioned this, that GTA DHCP, you're not on DHCP, you're on PPPoE. Bell Fiber in the GTA, Bell Fiber in the GTA is PPPoE. Where you're seeing DHCP is the IP addresses coming from the GigaHub or Home Hub, whichever one you're using, to your device. That's DHCP. That will always be DHCP. Sorry, one sec. Thanks, I'll try that. Meantime, I'm in the 30-40 latency. I live in Northern Ontario. Right, so... Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so you're on PPPoE, so the problem is if you were to try to use a separate router, it's going to want to compute those PPPoE frames, and you need a much higher end router to compute that. Because Bell is stupid and didn't make it DHCP like Rogers does. Like Rogers is DHCP from their end to the modem. Like it basically, I think, I could have this wrong, it reads the serial number or the MAC address or something off the back of the Rogers modem, and then it gets a DHCP address from the Rogers servers, and that's how you get an IP address. Where Bell, it's like login. If you connect a separate router, you got to log in with what they call PPPoE, and it's basically like dial-up, like the way it authenticates, but it's not dial-up, but it's kind of dial-up. The problem is that PPPoE, from my understanding, please correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, he did spoil me. Yeah, PPPoE can't handle the traffic without a beefy CPU because it wasn't designed for that. It was designed for dial-up in DSL. It wasn't really like it's a holdover from those days. So, ironically, if you buy a separate router, you would have been better off keeping your GigaHub if you don't spend a lot on the router. Now, if you spend a lot on the router, that's where things change. Like if you buy a cloud gateway or an Asus AX89X and you decide to change your network that way, well, if you're going to do a cloud gateway fiber, not endorsing it, but I'm just saying, the bypass has been amazing for me, and I get really, really good latency, good speed. The latency conversation, I want to bring this up again because there's a big misunderstanding about it. I have 8 gigabit internet. I have symmetrical 8 gig up, 8 gig down. There is no latency difference versus one of my neighbors who has 150 up and down. There is no difference. Gaming is no different on it. Where it gets different is when you need to download an update. Obviously, like, the higher your speed, the better. But your throughput, which is your plan, your 1.5, 3 gig, 8 gig, etc. That's just your throughput. But in terms of actual speed to the server back and forth, that throughput number, 1.5, 3, 8 gig, is not related whatsoever. Because fiber is fiber, right? It's just the speed in which, like, the thing you're looking for is ping, and nobody sells internet based on ping. Like, they don't say, like, hey, you can buy 2 millisecond ping internet. Like, that's not a thing. So, yeah, 3 gig, 8 gig, 1 gig, 150 meg. If it's fiber, you're laughing. If it's cable, well, then you got a problem, right? Let's see. And why E7 over... Yeah, so hopefully I answered that question for you, King of Pens Nation. Oh my god, I'm basic. King of Pens Nation, so, okay. You're a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. That's probably what you mean. I am ridiculous. I needed more coffee today, clearly. Margaret says, thanks, I'll try that. Most times I'm in 30 to 40 millisecond latency, and I live in Northern Ontario. Okay, so I don't think that's Bell aligned. I think that's normal Bell, like what I have. Oh, no problem, King. It's all good. No, you know what the thing is? Okay, I also want to clarify something. Let me get through these other comments, and I want to clarify something here. Why the E7 over the U7 Pro XGS or even the U7 Pro, especially for home uses? Okay, without Art Korea answering that, he wrote, I spelled him, but even without the answer, it's because he's Art Korea and he's the man. It's just... I'm one of those people, and maybe I'm stupid for this, but I like to over-provision things. Like, I'm very, like, you know what? Oh, I need 16 gigs of RAM to, like, accomplish this goal. Cool, buy 64. Like, I'm that guy because I want things to last a bit longer, and I want flexibility. It's just... whatever. As our Korea said, I spoiled him, and I spoiled myself too. So, are you using the high availability on the E7S? On the E7s, yeah. I'm not. I have the high availability port, but I'm not using it. And so, King of Pens Nation. Okay, this is what I want to address. So, the detailed explanation. I've said on this channel a few times, yeah, 1,000 clients is nuts, Anuj. I've said on this channel that I'm kind of burnt out on the fiber topic. I am. I'm not gonna lie. But that doesn't mean that if I'm asked a question that if I know the answer, I'm not gonna give the answer, or at least have a strong opinion about something. And the thing is, like, we're all human, we're dynamic. You know, things change. Right now, I'm sick of the fiber to the home discussion. But then there might be a point where I'm like, oh no, I'm back into this, right? Like right now, I've got this thing for content creation because I'm doing YouTube. But like, I have like, I named the channel TechMixr because I want to have a mix of different tech topics. Like lately, if you've watched the channel, when I covered this this Mint House adapter, this thing, I did it under the idea of editing ProRes RAW video through a 10 gig network, which is absurd because this isn't even a 10 gig adapter; it's a 5 gig adapter. But I was curious. I'm like, would that work? And I'm like, you know what? That's a pretty strenuous test for this thing. And if you didn't watch the video, go watch the video. But spoiler, it worked, and holy crap, it worked really well. But yeah, in terms of the explanation and also why I broke down the latency thing, a lot of people think bigger number equal better, and that's just the way that corporations have made us think. So I don't blame people for thinking that way, but the latency thing is the unspoken hero of fiber internet. Like you could have like 3 gigabit, but if your ping on average is like a full second, that throughput means nothing. Like cuz then it's like, okay, let me search something in Google, and then it's like click, why is this taking forever? Right? Okay, I will check it out. Yeah. So all right. Let's see. I'm not using high availability. Home internet isn't too critical for me. Isn't that critical for me? Okay. Yeah, I could see that. See, for me, unfortunately, home internet is like super crucial because I work from home. So, our Korea, just set up the damn high availability. Come on. Give me a reason to drive down there, and I'll bring my camera, and we'll have some fun with this high availability thing, and we'll turn your network into like, you know, enforcer net. Okay, so the U7. I'm curious. Hang on a second. Let's go back to our screen for a moment. I want to see U7 versus E7. Any real world advantages beyond what the Pro U7 Pro Max? Da, da, da. You know what? We'll just do this. Networking. Wi-Fi. I am just curious. So if we pull up the enterprise, so overkill. Okay. Wi-Fi 7 tri-radio. Could we like take this out for a second? Thank you. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to Wi-Fi flagship. Just want to compare them so we can really get a good look here. Let's take a look. Okay, so U7 Pro. Let me get these here. U7 will be the best option, right, for the price and power usage. Can you use a VPN to get a lower latency for gaming? Okay, I'm going to address that in a second, but here, let's go through this. If I go to the E7, you get 10 spatial streams versus 8. You get your 6 gigahertz radio. Your coverage is 160 square meters? 185 square meters. Let's see. Omnidirectional. Okay, 500 connected devices. No weatherproofing on the E7. This is bullcrap. Oh, when I switch back, I'm actually going to use a different scene. Or a different transition. Because I made some cool transitions for the stream and didn't get to use them yet. So that's kind of annoying. Wall ceiling. Yeah, honestly, just based on what I'm reading, it does look pretty damn good. The U7 or the U7 Pro XGS looks pretty damn good. But if you're gonna stick with home, how big is your place, Anuj? That's my question. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw that animation, but if you liked it, let me know in the comments. I was having fun earlier making that. Can you use a VPN to get a lower latency for gaming? Okay, this is a loaded question because a lot of VPNs advertise that. Bell has a very good pathway. In my experience. The problem is that if you're okay, how do I break this down? I'm assuming, I haven't done a trace route in a long time, but I'm going to assume that like it goes from my place to my local, like in my area where Bell is, and then that shoots to Toronto, and all that's through fiber. Distributel. Remember, I'm in like central Ontario. I think it's considered central. So Distributel routes to Quebec for some reason, if you're in my area. So, and Distributel was recently acquired by Bell, and they're on Bell's network, and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, it routes through Quebec. Maybe because they're from Quebec originally. I'm not totally sure about that. But VPNs, they introduce latency. I mean, somebody proved me wrong on that because I've messed with VPNs and I found my latency was like through the roof. For all of the crap we say about Bell, if you're on fiber to the home, their network is insane. So there's that. Yeah, I wouldn't use a VPN on Bell. But again, you could always test and check. I mean, no, there's nothing wrong with that. I think the bigger thing, to be honest, is if they just opened up IPv6. That would solve a ton of problems. Because if you have IPv6, you don't have to do the network address translation things, which means you probably don't have to deal with port forwarding. You might have to, but not nearly as bad as you do in the current implementation of IPv4. So I don't think a VPN is going to help for gaming. I honestly believe that in the IPv4 lane, I think it's good. That being said, Rogers is on IPv6, but in my area, it's only cable. But would I do a whole other set of videos if Rogers happened to roll fiber to the home in my neighborhood and give me a competitive price for 8 gig that what I'm paying versus what I'm paying right now? To get 8 gig fiber to the home with DHCP and IPv6? Oh yeah. I would probably leave Bell if Rogers could match them. But who the hell knows what they're doing? Everybody's crying to the CRTC that they don't want to share their networks with tech savvy. That's another interesting proposition. Another option is to go with a shared ISP, an ISP that's sharing lines with Bell that offers IPv6. That might be the better route, if I'm being honest. But I wouldn't go VPN. Any news on Rogers bringing over fiber speeds? I know they're testing in Calgary. So I have a couple of friends who have 2.5. I don't know what they're taking so long for. You know what they're doing? And I have a friend who's in like Aurora adjacent area. And my friend has a fiber coming in from Rogers. And then they have like an Ignite modem. But the problem is the fiber doesn't plug into the Ignite modem. So the Ignite modem takes coaxial, like a cable, right? So what they're doing, and it's so stupid. It's so stupid. The fiber goes into like a box for all intents and purposes. This is the box. It goes in here, and then what comes out is a coaxial cable, aka it's a media converter to convert the signal. And then they take that coaxial signal. Now, because of the coax that's in the middle, Rogers will only offer my friend, I think he's getting 1.5 down and like 100 up or 200 up or something like that. Pardon me, sorry. Again, need more coffee. Or I needed more coffee. It's too late now to continue. The problem is, all Rogers has to do is flip a switch. And then a technician will probably come out and grab the Ignite modem and grab the media converter box and give my friend a new modem where the fiber plugs directly in, very similar to what happens on Bell. So it's been years. There has to be a reason they haven't done it. Yeah, it's interesting that they're testing in Calgary. I was also mildly interested in trying Distributel or eBox or Telus on the fiber line, on the Bell line. But I've got such a good discount, I don't want to risk it, so I'm going to yawn my way off this live stream soon. Yeah, I am probably going to jump off soon, by the way, because I did not expect to go this long and have these conversations. So I want to thank everybody for jumping in. I did not expect anybody to watch this. It's kind of cool, to be honest. Maybe I'll do more of these. Yeah, so that's my answer about Rogers and bringing over fiber speed. Because they've rolled it out. Matter of fact, on my street, when I moved in, there's something like 20, 30, 40 kilometers of coiled up fiber in a box at the end of my street that is tagged Rogers. That was in 2019. They still haven't moved it. I don't know if Bell won some contract or how the hell that goes. Same thing at my place. I have a rugged Ethernet coming into my home, and it's split into two DSL lines that is rebonded into the modem. Oh my god. You have Ethernet coming into the... Okay. Any bets on who will be the next major outage between Bell and Rogers? Ooh, we should start a pool. Not that I'm endorsing gambling, because I'm not. Next major outage. I'm going to say Bell. And I think it's because... I'm not taking any credit for this, but I think it's people like me who are yelling about that IPv6 toggle that's in the GigaHub 2. And that they know that they have IPv6. Actually, no, I won't even say that. Sorry. I'm going to retract that statement. I think because they're starting to run up on the walls of IPv4 limitation that now they waited so damn long sitting on their hands to open up IPv6 that now they're going to test aggressively, and every time they test it, they're going to take part of the internet down. Like I heard yesterday, a lot of Bell TV stations or TV networks were basically offline. Not sure if that was a planned outage, but that's what I heard. Let's see. Yeah, so I read a news. Margaret, you're welcome. You're very welcome. The model of Nokia is... Okay, hang on. Let's... Should we go back to the computer? Let's go back to the computer. Yeah, let's do that. So, let's see here. What was it? Nokia XS010X-Q. Oh, yeah, it's the... Okay, so this is the same box, from my understanding... That's the same box that Distributel's giving out. I've seen this box before. There is literally no non-gross way to say that. Anugia Polymarket. No, Pookie. We're not betting on Polymarket over Bell and Rogers. Although that should be like a Super Bowl. What do they call that? Parlay. Yeah. Am I going to lose my Super Bowl broadcast because Bell or Rogers goes down? That's a parlay. Not endorsing gambling, kids. Yeah. So, yeah, the Nokia. The Nokia is actually pretty decent. I mean, it's just a dumb box, essentially. You know, the way I would set this up is, like, the Nokia is just basically, like, your OG style of modem used to get back in the day, like with Rogers Cable, or you know what I mean, where it did no routing. It was just literally just a box that received the connection, and then you were responsible for your firewall. If it was like a software firewall to your computer, or if you were doing routing, like wireless routing, wired routing, firewalls in there. Yeah, and it's an XGS. Yeah, that makes sense because that's yeah, because that's what I was saying is like Distributel. What I'm saying is, sorry if there's a little confusion. Let me clarify here. I'm saying that this Nokia XGS pawn box is the equivalent in 2025, 2026 to what Rogers would offer back in the day. Like, remember, if you're old enough to remember this, what was it? The Motorola Speedrunner was the modem that Rogers used to give out. That thing had no routing. It just accepted a connection. So that's what the Nokia does. The Nokia basically is, it just gets a connection, and then you're responsible for like your firewall and routing beyond that. Oh, Jason Price, and I love it that way. I miss when Alliant had the GPON that you could swap into your own hardware. Yeah, so that's Home Hub 3000 territory. That's where if you had the Bell Home Hub 3000, you could just like pull the SFP cage thing out and then throw it into like a MikroTik or a Unify and whatever. But then as the speeds got higher, PPPoE became a problem. It's such a niche thing. I wish companies would have made like, you know, like a box that would do the PPPoE like offloading for you. Although it's probably way more complicated than I'm making it sound just by saying that. So, you know. Yep, I be old. Yeah. I have to like look at my phone like this because like, you know, old. Yeah. All right, you know what? I think I'll answer like one or two more questions and then I'm gonna take off. So if you got more questions, now is the time. It's so weird seeing the delay on my phone. Yeah. By the way, I hope this live stream wasn't choppy. Oh my god, I've been going for an hour and 45 minutes. Well, while I wait for another question, here, I'll play that animation again. So I'm gonna go to my overhead camera. And this was what I made earlier. And yeah. I've also done some be right back screens, but I haven't had to use them. And Anuj is asking, next vid? Well, I posted a video today about the yeah, I think it was you who was talking about that, the Creator Studio. I have a video. I almost posted it today. I have a CalDigit TS5 Plus. Should I just use my BRB? Nah. Hang on. I was gonna post a video about this thing. No, it's in use right now. It's just the box. The video I was gonna post. Oh yeah. Phase detect autofocus. Let's go S5. And you're probably blown out to all hell because my key light's right there. Moving on. I was going to do a video about needing help with it. Because I've done a lot of testing. I've had it running since the end of October. There are some problems with it. And one of the things on the channel, and I've said this in videos, but I'm going to say it here. One of the things in channels is in my channel versus other channels, and I'm not trying to single out anybody, but I don't like when these companies do this like mass marketing nonsense where they're like, and hear me out when I say this. I get it. You're a business. You got to promote 100%. But I don't like when like you send creators a doc and you give them talking points and you send them a bunch of sponsor money. Like I get it. But my problem with that is, as a solo creator, who, by the way, for those who have wondered, that's a pricey docking station. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk. So they send the docs out. They send the docs out for review, or not review, for showcase. And I don't know the nice way to say this about the CalDigit. It is not worth the money. I just ruined any viewership I'm gonna get on that video, but whatever. F it. Who cares? There are some serious problems with the dock. But what I was gonna post a video about to answer it was a Nuge, yeah. To answer a Nuge, I was gonna post a video saying like, hey, anybody want to help me with this? And what I mean by that is you don't necessarily have to come and help me or like interact with me like in some way. It was more to get questions on what you want to see tested. Because I'm having and also I think I figured out what's wrong with the dock, that everybody else is having the same problem. And I think I figured out why it's doing it, that their engineers haven't pinpointed. And the way I figured that out was because of my Thunderbolt sound card. It did something very interesting. And when I removed my Thunderbolt sound card, it stopped doing that interesting thing that it was doing. I'll give you a hint. If I were doing the stream right now, and what if I was connected to the CalDigit TS5 Plus, we would have seen drop frames. Things would have gone haywire because the network disconnects. It does ship with 10 gig Ethernet, and it works. But yeah, so I was gonna put out a video like asking like, hey, what do you want to see? I don't want to do a community post because like, look, I put community posts up and they get like 1 like, and it's like, all right, but like, I wanted not necessarily for the views, it was more for the feedback. Like, I want people to tell me what they want to see as a test from that dock. I can't test everything because I don't have everything. It's like when people ask me, oh, you have a cloud gateway fiber, can you test the doorbell system? Well, I don't have the doorbell. Oh, you have you're using the bypass, can you test this specific ASUS router? Well, I don't have that router. Like, you know, I don't get sent stuff from companies. I'm a solo creator, right? Short of like Midhouse, Wavelink, UPerfect, who sent the monitor, and our Korea, I don't get free things. And even our Korea, that wasn't free. I owe you money for that. But yeah, so the next vid, hopefully sooner than later, because I'm on a mission. I said, I'm not going to say it out loud here, but I set myself a personal goal, not for 2026, just as a general thing that I wanted to accomplish with the channel, and so far I'm on track to do so. So that's pretty awesome. And you know what? We'll field one more question before I take off. Who do we got? If it's too personal, I'm just gonna end the stream early. So. TechMixr is Marquez Brownlee without the drunk Lambo driving. Yeah, Marquez. It's funny because, like, I got roasted. I got roasted hard when I did the video asking Marquez what the hell he was doing. It got views, not a ton, but it got views. But like, people were like, "What's the big deal?" One person specifically wrote like, "Oh my god, it's just a wallpaper app," and I was like, "Watch the whole effing video, jackass," because it was like, no, it's him going pure Andre 3 stacks through a school zone, and if you don't know that reference, you got to be an older hip hop head to understand that one. But yeah, like he just floors it through a school zone, and that's okay apparently. You know, it's funny because anytime on his channel he mentions anything to do with speed, the comments roast him, and it's hilarious. It's so funny. Or Linus without the R slip. Yeah, well, if you watch the 45-minute Bell video and the Minthouse video, that gets referenced. that one's the best. The R slip is hilarious. The thing with Linus and Marquez is they're part of the reason I want to do YouTube. I like, as a Canadian, to see Linus like break the mold and like just turn it into something is pretty awesome. Marquez is like Mr. Clean B-roll. The common denominator between those two now, I hate saying this, but they're kind of out of touch with reality, but they have to be. Look how much success they've had. They can't be part of the stack of life that we call a normal person's reality. I don't know if I'll ever make it to that point, but like, you know, they're an inspiration. So it was a little disheartening, you know, to see like Marquez be that irresponsible. You know, but then again, grow up sometime. So Linus is just, I don't know. He's something. I do want to meet both of those guys one day, and maybe this will get clipped from the live stream, and I'll get roasted or I'll get blackballed by some bigger YouTubers because of my opinions. But whatever. But yeah, if there's no other questions, I might just end the stream because I'm going to start yawning like a fiend. And I also got to get dinner in me. It's 5:30. I've been talking a lot, and probably time to jump off. Thank you. Can't wait for the next live stream session. Hey, Pens Nation, King of Pens Nation, I appreciate that. I am getting that right? Like, King of Pens Nation, you're a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I did watch the tech vid for a different opinion. You other people have a good one. Hey, Mark Rowell, thanks. Okay, let me answer King of Pens Nation. Do you think having the PS5 on static address will at least help for the time being before I get the third-party router? Okay, so... Okay. If you're putting... Okay, static IP... Oh, our Korea. I'm not going to end the stream yet. I got to answer that too. But let me finish up here with Pens Nation so I can give a fair answer here. Okay, there's nothing wrong with, on your router, having your console on a static IP address. As a matter of fact, I would probably highly recommend you leave it like that. If you can, if your networking equipment allows, find the games that you're playing and direct port forwarding for your console. That's probably the best way. I mentioned with the Asus AX89X to throw it in the DMZ. That's also an option. And it's also, if you're going to throw something in the DMZ, you better make sure that that's on a static IP. Because if that IP ever rolls, another device on your network could end up in the DMZ, the demilitarized zone, and you could get hacked. So, you know, you're basically trusting like Sony or Microsoft, you know, Xbox or PlayStation. You're trusting them to provide security updates so that, you know, and I wouldn't share anything personal. Like, I wouldn't connect the PS5 or the Xbox to a network share if you're going to run it in the DMZ. Just, you know. But yeah, keep it in your static. Like, that's definitely... Dan Villeneuve. No problem. Thank you for jumping in. Yeah, so to answer King of Pens Nation, yeah, keep it in your static. It's not going to make things better, but it's just a good practice. Like, I'm kind of hardcore. Like, every single device in my house is on a static IP. But, like, it was a matter of, like, I connected it. I was in the unified dashboard. I was like, fixed IP address, fixed IP address. I just locked everything down. So that way, if I wanted to turn one of these things into, like, a server kind of thing and I needed to throw something to it, there was no mystery about, well, what's the IP address? I can just pull it up in the table. Always a good practice. You know, the HCP is cool and convenient, but your console. Port forwarding your DMZ, that's going to be personal prerogative. If you're going to go DMZ, you have to be in a static IP, and not static IP. Sorry, your static IP for your PlayStation, not your internet connection, your PlayStation. Then the DMZ should be directed for strictly that IP address assigned to that PlayStation. Hope that makes sense. Port forwarding, it's cool. You just run the risk of hitting a typo and blocking the wrong thing, or not allowing the right thing. Networking kills me. All right, last thing I'm gonna say on the live stream regarding the CalDigit TS5. Okay, Anuj, watch the Bell video. There's a very archaic and terrible explanation of NAT, what network address translation, and I cover double NAT. I'll tell you the timestamp. You know what? I'm gonna make your life easy here. Give me one moment, and then I want to address our Korea, and then I gotta go because I'm fairly hungry and a little tired. Hang on, videos. Okay, so if you go to the Goodbye GigaHub, oh, I'm not signed in. I have to watch ads. YouTube Premium problems over here. Here's a sign of how old I am. I had YouTube Premium when it was called Red. Think about that for a minute. Okay, hang on. Okay, so if you go to the chapter, it's actually got its own chapter. 29. Give me one moment. Okay, if you go to 2909 on the Bypass Bell GigaHub video, That will basically give you the absolutely worst analogy but hilarious explanation for, oh, now the YouTube chat wants to work. Useless. Don't cuss on stream, Sean. Don't cuss on stream. Moving on. Okay. All right. I'm going to address the cow digit, and then I'm going to run. So this is going to spoil any work I'm doing on that video, but it needs to be said. They charge how much for that stupid effing dock? And it overheats. I think I've isolated the reason for overheating. That I won't spoil now. I'll save that for the video. But all of this could have been solved with a $5 fan. Oh, seriously? Did the audio go away, or am I good? Did they cut me off? Like, what's happening? I see a thumbs up from a Nuge. Can you guys still hear me? It wouldn't be a TechMixr live stream without some kind of issue. Okay, good. Okay, it wasn't me. Oh, I know why. Okay. No. That's on me. If it cut out for a second, that's probably on me. Okay, got it. All right. They could have solved the friggin' issue with the cow digit. I'm doing my best not to cuss because this boils me. They could have put a fan in the thing. You charge near $800 Canadian after tax for a dock. You can't put a fan in it. When I plug in certain Thunderbolt or USB-C, I'm really trying not to spoil this part of the video, the network disconnects. And drives disconnect. And other things like that happen. And I've isolated to what kind of USB-C and Thunderbolt stuff is causing it. And they can fix it. What kills me is on Reddit. If you go on Reddit right now, you know what? Here, let's do this. I'm going to pull up the Reddit thread because this angers me to my core. Like this, oh, hang on, Reddit, just, I'll pull up my screen in a moment. Okay, you guys ready to laugh at this? I'm blown away that this is a thing. Look at this. What's been your solution for the overheating TS5 Plus? Look at this. Fans. It's actually incredibly stupid that we have to resort to fans. They couldn't cool the thing. Like, okay, I don't know. I won't be able to show this because it will probably disconnect the stream. I have a bulky, and I'll say it's like about, I don't know how well you're seeing this. About this thick. It's about this long. It's a 10 gig to Thunderbolt Ethernet adapter. Okay. It's a passively cooled Thunderbolt to Ethernet adapter. The problem with the TS5, and I don't know if I can, let me just, you know what, here. Whatever. We'll just do one of these. Okay. CAC digit? No. Cal digit TS5 Plus. Okay. Check this out. Wow, this page is... Okay. This is actually a great example. You see right here the Ethernet port? This whole thing is passively cooled. 20 ports of extreme connectivity. Yeah, it's 20 ports of kiss my ass. These guys are idiots. Because the amount of heat that port, just that port alone is generating. And then you have two separate USB controllers on board. They honestly, like, the level of neglect is actually kind of insane. And I cannot recommend people buy this. And I think what's even crazier is if you deep dive on Reddit, in terms of like the responses from CalDigit, is absolutely insane because they're like, our engineers are looking into this. No, you're not. You would have figured it out by now. If I figured it out, and I'm like a nobody in a basement right now, okay? Like, let's be real. Like, I'm not anything special. But if I can figure it out, you're telling me your engineers couldn't figure this out? Okay, well, here's one for you. You wouldn't have to figure this out if, you took some of your profit margin and put, like, I don't know, made it a little thicker and put a cooling fan in it. Would be nice, but probably unlikely, is a user replaceable cooling fan would be awesome. But I digress. I'm not a business major. These guys are making way more money than me, but yeah. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Don't buy it. Do not buy it. Honestly, when I do that video, I'm going to say in there that company Wavelink, who makes the Thunderbolt 4 dock that I used for a very long time. I say used like past tense. I still use it. I'm using it right now. It's literally running this live stream, right? It's living on this desk now because the TS5 is in my computer studio. In the video, I'm going to ask Wavelink outright, can you just make the TS5 but proper? Like, just literally, and just price it a little bit less than the CalDigit and just blow them out of the water with a dock that actually works. Because the TS5 for what they're charging is stupid. I'm not a fan. But anyway, now I'm starving, and I'm tired, and it's cold. Oh, Canada. But I want to thank all of you who came in to talk. I was very surprised that I was getting this kind of traction. Like I said, I expected this stream to nobody. Are you in the Starlink area? Would a video about that be possible? Probably not. Okay, so I'm going to reiterate this. This topic about networking, I'm kind of burnt out on it. I'm going to do stuff here and there. If Starlink is not super intrusive to my life, aka I don't have to rip my whole network apart, then maybe. I'm not going to say never. I won't say never. It's unlikely because I want to explore things that excite me in tech. Starlink hasn't been super exciting. I mean, the idea is cool, but I don't know. I don't think I could make a good video about it. I also don't think that I'm qualified enough to make a good video about that. I think there are people who are probably more passionate about it and who could probably do a way better video on that topic than I could. So, sorry, I guess. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up, though, because, yeah, I've been going for 2 hours when I honestly thought this was going to be like a half-hour stream. But, yeah. If you're not already, subscribe. Thank you so much for being here. Set it up as a follower is cool. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Again, I got to see how I feel about it. But I've got other videos in the pipeline I want to work on. The CalDigit one is a priority. I actually have... Do I have it near me? I'm going to give you guys a public service announcement, actually. Oh, I don't have it with me. I have a Thunderbolt 5 hard drive enclosure. And it's from Wavelink. That thing is awesome. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I want to give a public service announcement for anybody who's going to... TechMixr will return in the Avengers Dooms. I got memed. Damn you, Art Korea. I was going to say the Wavelink enclosure... Yeah, I was going to say, if you see a Thunderbolt 5 enclosure and you think I need to buy a Gen 5 hard drive or SSD, like NVMe for it, don't. You don't need to. That's my public service announcement. That's going to be in that video as well. But that's a video I want to get done as well. I got a few other things I want to cover. If you saw when I did the prompter video, I said it was I'm a Sucker for Punishment episode 1. Well, here's a hint. Because I did the CalDigit video years ago about the TS3 Plus, what do you think episode 2 of I'm a Sucker for Punishment is? So there's that. And then I have another what I want to do, another Sucker for Punishment one, but that video is going to be a little harder to pull off. But yeah. Anyway, to everybody watching, I want to say thank you. Thank you for the support. Thanks for subbing. Thanks for commenting. I don't know where this channel is going to take me, but who knows? Maybe this is something, and yeah, I'll keep doing the live stream. I think I'm going to do more live streams. But first, before I do the next live stream, I will return in the Avengers Doomsday or Korea. So anyway, talk to you all soon. Thank you so much. I'm going to end it here. My name is Sean, and this has been TechMixr, and I'm out. Peace. Trying to